Hey guys, what's going on? Drewzy here, coming at you with another video on the channel. And two things real quick before we get started. Number one, of course, I have a webcam now. As you can see, I have a webcam here to do my commentary, hopefully going forward on other videos on the channel. Special thanks to my girlfriend for the wonderful birthday present that caused this to happen. And number two, going back to our roots a little bit. Recently on the channel, I've been posting a lot of Diablo videos, mostly because I'm trying to grow the channel a little bit, and the Diablo videos have been way more popular than my Smite videos have. But Smite is the game that I play the most, and I'm hoping to grow Smite as well on the channel. So I'm going to try with this video here with Artio. And Artio is the most recent god to be added to the game. She was added as the 90th overall god for Smite, and she is a guardian. So as you can tell, of course, in the title, which should you go with as the guardian for Artio? Should you go a little bit more damagey, or should you go a little bit more tanky? And I will try to answer that question for you, obviously, throughout the course of this video. I will kind of go through some of the items that I think she should have, regardless if you go one way or the other, and then I will then give you some tips and tricks as far as how to use her going forward. So as I'm recording this video, she's been out for about 2 weeks on console, about 3 weeks on PC. She did just get a recent nerf on the PC with the most recent update, and that, of course, update will then take effect for console in the following week. But even with the D value in her heal, I still think she's a very good guardian. She's really fun to play, in my opinion. She's one of my favorite guardians to play right now, and I kind of want to just break down some of my tips and tricks of what I've been doing to be effective with her, and I hope that you guys agree. But if you don't, please let me know. Leave a comment down below. Feedback is extremely important. It helps me be better for you guys going forward. So first major tip that I will kind of give you for Artio is, of course, not only the fact that she is a guardian, but she's a very good support guardian. She really does well in team fights more so than individual fights on her own, and I'll kind of show you a little bit of the struggle as far as an individual fight versus a team fight. Use her in a team fight setting. It's just extremely effective if you do it that way. Utilize the fact that hopefully you have teammates that have kind of stuns, that have kind of things that will help her be the best. Her bear form is where she's going to do the most of her damage, which is of course in her ultimate button. She can switch between her bear form and her Duric form as often as she wants to. She can do it an unlimited amount of times. There is no limit to the amount of times that she can switch, and it costs no mana. It costs absolutely nothing to switch back and forth, but utilize it at the right times and the right moments to be the most effective with her. But the first thing, of course, that you want to buy with any single character in the game is boots. In most game modes, you want boots first, and the best boots that I find for her is the focus boots. The focus boots, of course, are the mana boots, is one other way to put it. I would suggest getting those boots. It gives her the extra mana. It also gives her a little bit, it gives her the movement speed. I think those are the best boots for any mage. And because you're kind of going, you know, a little bit of both directions, the cooldown is probably one of the nicest aspects of the game. She needs her abilities. She's an ability-based guardian, and most gods need their abilities anyways, but she really shines when she has her abilities at her disposal, so the cooldown is probably the most important part. I've seen people use the damage boots with her. I don't think that's a smart idea. I don't think it's going to give you that extra little magical penetration. I don't think is enough to put her over the top, in my opinion. That the cooldown is just way more valuable for her, so get the cooldown boots. That would be the first item that I would highly suggest to use, number one. The second item I would highly suggest to use, Breastplate of Valor. Again, gives you great cooldown and gives you great physical protections. She does need some protections, even if you're going to go mostly damage, because I, again, think, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned this earlier, a hybrid version of her is very good. The hybrid version, having a little bit of both worlds, both damage and tank, really makes her shine, in my opinion. I mean, post-nerf, this may change, and she may need to be more tanky, I think, than more damage. But in my opinion, just do that. Just do both. Just kind of go both directions here. Kind of go a little bit in the hybrid version. But Breastplate of Valor is the second item that I've been getting with her. And in the popular builds, that seems to be what most people have been doing. Of course, when you first kind of get a god, sometimes the popular builds are some of the best ways to suggest where to go. Because you kind of, if you're really feeling out a god in the first few matches that you play him, especially the first match, you should have absolutely no idea what you're doing. Yeah, you may have watched some videos that High-Res has posted, of course, as far as suggestions of what to build, but sometimes going with the popular build may not be the way to go. Always play based on what you're playing against. The opponent team is going to be your biggest deterrent as far as what you're going to be doing. But one of the main things is in her damage, her magical damage is mostly spec'd off her bear form, not off her druid form. So focus on, if you're focusing on pure magical penetration or magical damage, that's going to come from the swipe ability, which is the first ability in her bear form. That's where the true magic damage comes from with her, so focus on that. If you have that ability at your disposal as often as possible, then you're going to do the most magical damage with her, is going to be with that ability. So again, that's where cooldowns play such a crucial part. And if you notice in the bottom left hand corner of your screen, she has a symbol with the three little kind of circle abilities. Those are her abilities in each form, and you see that there are cooldown markers for all the abilities as she has them active. So as you switch characters, you will notice the cooldown change to the opposite form that you're not currently active in. Utilize that to your advantage. If you really need to use an ability to get away, because her escape is in her bear form, her most form of damage is in her bear form as well, and her stun, which is probably her most important item for her, is also in the bear form. So her bear form is where she truly shines as far as damage. Her self-heal is in her druid form, which that's where her survivability comes into place. Her damage is primarily in her bear form. So again, the cooldowns are so crucial for her. Having all that extra cooldown as close to max as you feel you need is really going to help her shine. So the two main items, the focus boots with the cooldown and the breastplate of valor, are two items I would highly suggest to use with her. The third item I'd highly suggest is Voidstone. Voidstone is a great penetration buff, team buff, as well as for yourself. It's going to make you better on offense. It gives you more damage and some protections, so it's a great hybrid item. But most of my guardians, to be honest, is one of my go-to items. And not only is it a great magical defense and boost to your own damage, and as well as your own team, but it also focuses. It's a very cheap item, so it's very useful in the fact that it is cheap. But again, one of the main things you need to do with Artio is use her in a team focus. Use her stun to her advantage. Also, she has some range abilities in her druid form with her heal and stuff. She also can slow very well. She's a great control guardian, but she is very squishy. So you do need some tank with her, because even if you try to focus full damage with her, she's going to die a lot, because you're really not you're focusing so much on her abilities oftentimes that I find myself dying a lot with her. And I don't know if you guys have that problem too. Please let me know in the comment section how you feel about that. I found I died a lot with her because at times, because I wasn't really focusing on her health, because I thought, oh, she's a guardian, so she's got plenty of health, she's going to be totally fine. But she's really needs her abilities to keep her alive and to keep her sustainability, which is the way with pretty much all the guardians in Smite if you play it long enough. So the first three items again: focus boots, breastplate of valor, and then voidstone. Those are three near must-haves in my opinion to be the most effective with her. In some of the build guides that I've seen on YouTube for her, it's one great item if you're going to go more damage, then you're going to go more tank: Spear of Desolation. Spear of Desolation again gives you some great cooldown reduction, and it'll get you to full cooldown if you have breastplate, the cooldown boots, and Spear of Desolation. That will give you full max cooldown that you're allowed with all the gods in Smite. So it gives you the nice cooldown again to make her use her abilities more often, and it gives you a great magical penetration buff as well as a good boost to magical damage, which is really going to help her bear swipe be overly effective. So that would be one thing that I would go with if you're trying to go more damagey. I would say Spear of Desolation, in my opinion, is a great item if you're going that way. Another thing that's been very popular in the damage focus has been Gem of Isolation. Gem of Isolation gives a nice slow effect, which she already has a nice slow with in her bear form because she has the stun, and then she also has the stun. She also has a slow in her druid form with her ranged ability in the druid form. But I still think that the extra slow with her allows her in her bear form to do way more damage, because she's going to be able to put out more basic attacks with her bear form if you're slowing the enemies with abilities. So I think that Gem of Isolation is a great way to go along with Spear of Desolation. If you need a little bit extra damage because you got a lot more tanky people, then Ethereal Staff, in my opinion, is a little bit better for the overall damage. Ethereal Staff, in my opinion, is the mage's form of King Sai. So if you're fighting a lot of gods with a lot of extra health, Ethereal Staff is a great way to go if you're trying to pump out a little bit extra damage. If you're trying to go more tanky, Hide of the Urchant. Hide of the Urchant is one of the best tank abilities in the game because it gives you a nice boost to your mana. It gives you protections in both categories, and it's good if you're going to be doing a lot of team fights and help you with that survivability that she has. I think Hide of the Urchin is the way to go. If you're trying to go more tanky, don't worry about Spear of Desolation. Instead of Spear of Desolation, focus on Hide of the Urchin. Try to get Hide of the Urchin as early as you can, because every assist or kill that you get will help build stacks towards Height of the Urchin, which will make you more tanky in the game. If you're playing more of a like Clash, where you're playing a game or Joust, things like that, she's really good in those in small team fights. So Joust, I've seen her be very, very effective, and I've seen her be effective even in Conquest. I've seen her in the dual lane in Conquest. Is she the best dual lane Guardian? No, but she's still extremely effective because her heal is so good at sustaining, and everyone knows that plays Conquest enough. That's Conquest's name of the game is sustain and then damage. So if you can sustain the longest to get your level up, to be able to pump out more damage as early as humanly possible, it's all about sustain, and her sustain is very, very good, especially if she has a hunter with her that can do stunning, that can allow her to then use her abilities in her druid form to heal herself with a god that's not moving around. So I think she's functional in just about every single game mode. I think she shines the best in small team fights. So Clash is great for her. Arena, she's okay. She's not phenomenal in Arena. She's great in Joust. I think she's one of the best Joust Guardians right now, because until the nerf, with the nerf coming down, she may not be quite as effective, but she's just so good in small team fights in my opinion. Again, let me know how you feel about it. I think she's great in the small team fight area. But of course, you want to get Height of the Urchin early if you're gonna use that. Don't worry about trying to get it late game. I don't think it's effective in all game modes in my opinion as far as Height of the Urchin if you're trying to go more tanky. But the boots generally are the thing that you're going to want to focus on first with anyone, and then you're going to want to try to focus on Hyde probably second. But because you're going to need that movement, you're going to need to be able to use her abilities to get around and help your teammates be the most effective. And then other items to use if you're trying to go more tanky versus more damage. One thing I would play based on what you're playing against. So if you're playing against a lot of mages, build more magical defense. I've seen people use a lot of Shoguns lately. Shoguns is great because it helps your teammates be able to attack faster, be able to do basic attack much faster, especially if you're in Conquest and you have a dual laner who's a hunter. You're going to want to help your hunter be able to pump out more damage with that additional attack speed. I would say Shoguns would be a great addition to the lineup. Or if you're going against a decent amount of hunters or a bunch of assassins, I would say Height of the Nemean Lion is very good for her. Gets that deflect damage, gives you a ton of physical defense as well. So I really like Height of the Nemean Lion. I think it's an undervalued item in the physical defense class. That's kind of two ways you can go, either Shoguns or Height of the Nemean Lion. Those are two great ones. But again, kind of focus. You can go with Sovereignty. You can go with other things that kind of give you a team buff. Generally, I wouldn't suggest get her a heal item. So I've not seen very many people use the heal buffed items because again, she's not really utilizing a heal on her team. She's only using a heal for herself. So I think that the heal staffs or the heal items that boost team healing are kind of pointless in my opinion, because in all reality, if you're really trying to do the damage, the droid form's not the way to go. You're going to want to be in her bear form, and her bear form has no heal effect. It's only in her druid form. So I mean, that's kind of up for debate. But again, she's still relatively new, so you can kind of go a couple different ways. If you're the only one pulling a tank with her, she's not going to be quite as effective. I would suggest, hopefully, if you have other teammates with you, try to get another person that's kind of tanky along with her, so that you're not just completely screwed over. Kind of go a hybrid with Artio. Don't just go all damage, don't just go all tank. So in my opinion, to answer the question, a hybrid, in my opinion, is one of the best versions for her. But with the nerf coming here fairly soon for console, I think I'm going to end up going a little bit more tanky, if I had to be more honest, rather than go more damage. I don't think she really has enough health and sustain, in my opinion, to be a true damage guardian. Maybe she can be. If you guys have some build guides, let me know. But as of right now, as I've seen in her early kind of gameplay in the last few weeks, she seems to be focused more as if you give her a tank, her abilities do a decent amount of damage, especially in her bear form. If you utilize her in team fights and have that extra sustain with her, she's just going to do devastating work for you and your team because of her stunning, because of her slowing, and all of her control effects that she has. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you found this video helpful. Again, trying to put out more Smite content. Hopefully this video is able to encourage me to do that with more viewership. But again, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks so much for the support, and I will continue to throw it out here. I'm really excited to use this camera here going forward in my commentary in later videos. But my name is Drewzy. Peace out, everybody.